Hey everybody, I'm back and I just want to review with you how to decorate your bowls and show you a couple ideas because I feel like some of you might need that a bit. So, okay, let's start with this bowl here. I think this is what a lot of your bowls look like right now, and this is great. At this point, if you have put enough clay coils into your bowl that it is up to the styrofoam rim, then you are ready to start decorating. At this point, I could smooth it first. So I'm going to take my ceramic sponge, dip it in my cup of water, squeeze all the excess water out, and then I'm going to smooth it. Really be careful not to add water to your bowl. Like, don't squeeze water in there. I've seen some of you do that. Do not do that. Just use a tiny bit of water on your sponge to just get out some of the fingerprints. Okay, so at this point, I'd say here are your options. You could do one coil around the whole top. You could take little balls of clay and place them in these lines here. Or you could start scoring and slipping decorations onto the top. But what I would not do is I would not just leave it like this. And here's why. Right now you can already see that where these spirals are connected, this is like a weak spot here. And what I've seen happen before with bowls is a crack start and go all the way down to the bottom. I've seen this happen many times. So while you might think, ooh, it looks so pretty along this edge here, it really needs more support. If you want to have a scalloped edge like this, you're going to have to support these areas more first. So you can do that by placing a little extra clay in between them like this and smoothing that in. That can still give you this scalloped edge look and still make it secure. So I'm going to just do a couple of those for you. Just putting a little ball of clay right in the crack there. There's another one here. And this is going to really help support. Okay, as you're working on your edges also, it's really important to check and make sure that your saran wrap is not stuck in your clay coil. So you can start pulling this down a little bit and checking and feeling this edge here. Because remember, when you're all done, this is going to be coming out of the styrofoam bowl. So you want to know that this edge right here is nice all the way around. So check that with your fingers. You can use your sponge, smooth over that edge. Hopefully your clay is not so soft and wobbly that it can't stand like this. If it feels like it's starting to flatten out like a plate though, put it back in the styrofoam bowl. Okay, so I'm going to move on to another example. If you want to leave your bowl just like this, that would be fine. But there are so many other cool things that you can do. So let's look at this one that is almost finished. I want to show you how I made this design and then how I attached it and made it so well supported. So what I did to make these cool triangles is I used one of these texture rollers. So these are supposed to be used on clay slabs. Clay slabs are like a sheet of clay and you can roll it over the clay. That's not going to work so well for what we're doing. If you roll it over clay pressed on the table, guess what? You're just pressing that down, sticking it to the table. You won't be able to get it back off. But what we can do, and this is what I did, is I just took pieces of clay. I made a little round ball, and then I pressed it where I wanted the texture. So if I wanted that diamond, I pressed on the diamond, peeled it off, and now I have this cool diamond texture. And then you can use your plastic knives to cut off any parts that you don't want. And we have a few of these. We have some that have these swirlies and leaves. I did a leaf right here is a little leaf example. And we have this one that has squares and zigzags and dots and triangles. And again, just think of it as little pieces of these that you're using, though. You're not going to be rolling out the whole thing. So I scored and slipped these triangle pieces and these little line coils of clay on top of my bowl, and then I really worked around it and smoothed it really well together. First using my finger, and now I'm starting to use my damp sponge to get it even smoother, and I think it's looking really nice. I'm going to take this out for you just so that you can see the whole thing now, since it's starting to get more dry. So let's just take a good look. I'll hold it in a couple different directions so that you can really see how this is looking. And again, my bottom, I have a flat area here ready for me to carve my name into it once it's a little bit more firm. Okay, last thing I want to show you is just a review of how to attach decorations and then a few different ideas. So I made some kind of like S-shaped spirals here, like a little swirl. These could be fun to attach on to a bowl, maybe a pattern of just these S-shaped spirals. You could do regular circular spirals. You could make small little petal-like shapes or spikes. Those are really easy to do. Let me show you. You would just roll a ball of clay in your hand and then pinch one side so it gets kind of pointy, and then flatten. So like flatten and pinch so that you're making that point on one end. Here's a tip though. Don't ever try to stick anything out from your bowl that is more than, I'd say, a half of an inch off of the bowl itself. So you wouldn't want some huge thing like this. This is over an inch. I would not want to attach this here. That would be extremely delicate. Okay, I would want this on, mostly attached to the rim itself so that nothing's hanging off far. Hanging something off like a half of an inch, like this, would be perfectly fine though. So if I want to put this here on my bowl, what I'd first do is make enough that I can see that I'm happy with my pattern, and then to review how to attach, if I'm going to put this on, I would first take my fork and score. That's like making hashtags. So I'm going to use my fork in two different directions and really roughen up the clay. I'm going to score the area that I'm attaching it to. Take some water with my fingers, add that in. Make sure I'm using enough water that it's starting to look soupy and muddy, and then I'm going to attach this on and give it a little wiggle. Okay? And with my finger, I want to still smooth around as well. And really press that on good. Okay? All right, last thing I want to show you, a few things you can do with coils that you might not think about are making twists out of them, or even making braids out of them, taking three coils of clay and braiding them together. That could be really interesting. You could even get super creative and try to build small little things that you attach. Here's a small flower that I made using clay that I could attach to my bowl. Really, the sky's the limit. Just think small, think neat, and be realistic with your time. You do need to finish your bowl completely today. All right, have a great time. I can't wait to see your bowls.